All right, video log number 1. I have no idea who is going to see this. I'm just going to make it with the intent that nobody will, and that this is literally just going to be me, myself, and I. I don't know what I want this to be. I think I'm going to take you through a workout, and then pin back and buys and rear delts, and just going to go through the process of what I do, why I do it. Again, just with the intent of I'm, an 18-year-old kid that's just I've been in fitness for a little bit, but I'm just making logs, I guess, maybe for just for me in the future, just to see what I'm doing and progress that I've made. And I don't know, this is probably just going to be the way it is. So right now, in my lovely dorm, I'm going to make pre-workout. So creatine bag, boom. 2-pound bag for my protein because it's cheap, and in college you don't have a whole lot of money, so you're trying to make things for cheap. Got the big gallon jug, only filled it with a couple ounces of water because I don't feel like drinking 2 whole liters of water if I'm only going to put in 1 scoop of pre-workout. So for the pre-workout that I have right now, I have Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, flavor strawberry kiwi. So it's pretty good. I would rate it 7 out of 10 probably, I think, just because it's pretty sweet. Normally I like some of the more tart flavors, but we're rolling with this because it's what I have and it is what was given to me. So that's the deal. Pre-loaded creatine. I'm gonna go eat a pre-workout meal. I'm gonna go to the dining court, probably get some Cinnamon Toast Crunch because I'm trying to get high carbs. Before Cinnamon Toast Crunch, have a protein shake for the extra protein, wait 15-20 minutes, head to the gym, and then probably pick it up there, and then I guess we'll see. All right, we back, about to head to the gym. And I want to take this opportunity to go through what I'm going to do, why I want to do it, and kind of what the thought process is behind it. If anybody that's watching this has the attention span to sit through this conversation, might actually learn something from it. So this is the second half of week 3 of 6 of my mesocycle. For those of you that don't know what a mesocycle is, it's basically a period of time where you increase volume, intensity, everything like that, but then you have a week where you do a deload, and then you kind of take it easy and let some of the fatigue that's accumulated over that phase of getting heavier and progressive overloading, and then you take that week to just chill out, kind of reset your body and reset your mental. So I'm in week 3, so volume is starting to creep up. Normally the way I do it is I linearly increase sets, weight, and intensity throughout the meso, so it generally tends to do kind of an exponential curve because I'm increasing multiple variables at the same time. So this is week 3, so stuff is starting to reach that point of exponential growth in terms of volume that I'm doing. So in terms of exercises and sets, planning on doing this is week 3 of back, planning on doing 8. I'll do 4 sets of a pull down of a vertical pull for my lats. That's more lat biased. Obviously, you're gonna hit all parts of the back pretty much, but just something that's more lat biased. And then I'm gonna do 3 sets of a row that's more trap, rhomboid, and mid back biased. Just because that's kind of the standards. What I've been doing for years now, and it's worked out really well. I've been able to make pretty solid growth. In terms of reps in reserve, probably going to push to about 3 to 2 reps in reserve. So intensity is creeping up there, but not excessively high yet. So it should be a quality workout. I shouldn't be left completely crushed, but at the same time should still be enough to elicit some kind of growth. Big fan of doing stretch, and you'll see when I get into the gym and actually record some of the sets that I'm going to do. Big fan of slow, controlled eccentric and doing big stretch stuff, and just emphasizing control because I am bodybuilding right now. That's what I'm doing, and in terms of like fatigue management and like joints, central nervous system, all those things. Having kind of like a slower, controlled for doing higher volume stuff, which is what bodybuilding is, generally going to be better just for overall hypertrophy and trying to make the most out of a muscle growth context. So that's what I'm doing then. And then I'm doing biceps and then rear delts. Normally I'll probably push those. Sorry about the truck in the background. I'll wait for it to pass. Okay. All right. But yeah, biceps and rear delts, because those are smaller muscle groups, can handle a little bit more volume, can recover a little bit faster. So I will be pushing the intensity on those a little bit more, probably going to 1 rep in reserve, maybe even failure at this point, because this is week 3. So we're doing that. Yeah, I'll start drinking the pre, and then I'll probably pick it up when I'm in the gym doing my first exercise, and I'll talk about cues and all that stuff. So it'll be good. All right, so for the most part, the rec center is pretty empty. I'm currently filming with my phone upside down, so we'll see how that turns out. But I'm gonna start out with lat pull downs because I want to do a vertical pull first, target the lats, like I said. We're doing 4 sets of this. Basically, I'm probably gonna go, like 3 reps in reserve is like my first set. Obviously, I'll do some working set or some warm-up sets to just like get the muscle warm and everything like that. So yeah, and then I think I'll film the actual set itself without any audio, or just like put my phone down somewhere over there and not have like the wired mic. Not that it's doing any good anyway, because it's a wired headphone from like 8 years ago, but I mean, do what we can. And then I'll try and film just so I could get the form right, and then I guess talk about the set afterwards, and just like cues and stuff, and kind of like thought process of what to do. And I will say before I do the actual set, getting a big stretch with your back in particular is really important, because a lot of people, like if they're doing a row and they like have their chest up, they bring their arms forward, but they don't let their shoulders roll forward and get a huge stretch in their trap. And that's something like, if you don't let your shoulders change, and like if you're doing a pull down, if you don't let your shoulders come up, you don't get that extra stretch in your lat, and you're kind of limited to like the mobility, I guess, of your arms, and like your biceps will get super stretched out, but like you're not getting that full stretch in your lat, which is the whole point of this exercise to begin with. Also, real quick on the topic of straps, and I'm kind of jumping around here, but a lot of people, they shit on straps. Sorry for the language, but they crap on straps. And I personally like straps, huge fan of straps for anything back related, because in my opinion, your back should always be stronger than your forearms. So I can understand if you're not training close to failure, but if you're training close to failure, normally you'll find that your forearms fail before your back. And personally, I think that's the way it should be. I don't think that it should be the other way around. And I think people that strive to get their forearms bigger than their back are holding back their back growth. But that's just my opinion on it. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own training philosophies, and some of it can even be like, you know, genetics too, about like what their strong point is. Because like I will say, for me, forearms are definitely a weak point of mine, so I could just be kind of talking out of my rear end right now. But we'll see. So get to the actual set. All right, next machine on the agenda for today is the Iliac Fiber single arm pull down. Do I care that it is the iliac fiber single arm pull down? No, I don't really care that it targets the iliac fiber of the lats. The main reason why I'm doing this is because it feels good and I want to. I think that there's something to be said about just doing what your body feels like. I think that a lot of people focus too much on what is optimal when people are so different builds, like you could like have like different limb lengths, just certain things that make certain exercises that are quote unquote optimal better for other people than they could be for you. So this again, I'm gonna focus on getting a ginormous stretch at the top, getting some solid tempo work in here, and I'll just record and it'll be a grand old time. So yeah. All right, so next set exercise on the agenda is chest supported T-bar rows. Now, why chest supported? Normally I do chest supported because on my leg days I do a kind of hinge movement, which generally tends to fatigue my lower back a bit too much. So I find personally that I can go as intense as I can and just not have as much of a fatigue of the lower back and still go heavy and still go in a heavier rep range with T-bar rows. So it's definitely a preference thing. But like I was saying earlier, like preference for certain exercises definitely, there's like a genetic and an individual standpoint to it too, where like you can gain more growth as an individual rather than like following quote unquote optimal exercise. So I'll show you what I mean here. Definitely some cues for this, like I was mentioning earlier with pull downs, is getting a huge weighted stretch, controlling on the way down, and just really trying to just get that big stretch. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I hit my top set here in a second. So, yeah. and also just doing the movement itself still involves your traps. So at the end, because normally the thing that fails are like your rear delts and rhomboids, but your traps are still relatively okay. So by just doing shrugs, it gives your traps the extra stimulus when they're already fatigued, so you don't have to do like separate exercise altogether or anything like that. It's just an efficiency thing, so that's why. All right, well now that I'm done with back, move on to biceps. I found myself a little corner in the gym because nobody's here, and not gonna lie, it's a little awkward just recording yourself. I'm still trying to get used to that, but we'll see how it works out. I'm gonna start with just regular bicep curls, really focusing on, again, weighted stretch. And then what I'll normally do for biceps, because biceps are pretty high volume, I'll do like at this point in the meso, like 3-ish sets of biceps focusing on the stretch like that, doing like that, and then I'll focus on ones in the short, like where the emphasis of the movement is on like the shortened position and the contraction. And I just find that gives me the best pump. That's really the only method there is to the madness there. But I'll probably record a top set, maybe a couple back downs, and then at the end do like a little pump check. And then rear delts, and then get it the hell out of here, because as much as I like being in the gym, don't want to be in here for 3 hours, and like any other human being, there's always shit to do outside the gym. So we'll do that, get back to you.
Maybe I'll get my knee straight. My knee is so bad. That's why I get scared of like doing a hot pump. Yeah, my knee is dead.
All right, so with that, just basically with rear delts in general, what I try to do is I try and do movements that, first of all, I want to work in a higher rep range because I'm trying to get metabolites and blood into the rear delt, because since it's a smaller muscle group, that tends to be more effective. And I've already done a heavy row, so like the fast twitch muscle fibers have already been like worked, so I'm trying to hit more of the slow twitch ones this time. And since it's a smaller muscle group, generally they can recover quicker in between sets. So I'll be doing a lot of sets of this, but the rest in between won't be as much as like a heavy row or something like that. And again, the whole point is just to try and get as many blood, metabolite into the muscle, and just work on volume tolerance overall. So this is the last workout. That was my top set for rear delts. I'll finish this up, and then probably have a little conversation on the car or on the walk back to my dorm, and then we'll just end it there. So hopefully this helped and served as some kind of informative material for anybody that watches this. So yeah, you guys all have a good one. All right, just wrapped up the back and bis and rear delts workout. Would say overall workout was a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. Definitely dragged on for a little bit. That's okay, sometimes it happens. In the coming weeks, probably add some stuff like intensifiers, like drop sets and whatnot, to try and speed things along, because trying to fit in the volume that I want to but still keeping the workouts between 1.5 to 3 hours long is going to become more of a challenge as the volume increases. So that's one thing, I guess, like, you know, as further you get in, the more volume you need to stimulate growth. You start using things to add intensity, you know, like drop sets and just stuff to get in some extra volume, drop sets, supersets, whatnot. So yeah, hit a little bit of abs too at the end, because I don't know, one thing with me, for anybody that sees this, I don't know who would, but one thing with me is that when I was younger, I was a little chubby, had some extra body fat on me. I didn't play any sports either, so I had like no muscle. So body composition wise, definitely undesirable, but I have a little bit of extra skin. Not much, you know, if I flex in certain ways, it doesn't even come up at all, but, you know, resting, you can kind of see it. So I guess for me, it's not necessarily an insecurity, because I know I can't really do anything about it in the short term, you know, except for surgery. But again, I don't have 10 grand sitting around to get that kind of surgery, so I'm kind of just stuck with it until, I guess, add more muscle to the frame. But again, that takes years, and at this point it's not really even a concern of mine to begin with. So I guess anybody that would be watching this that has that insecurity, you know, put on some more mass and you'll get more like shapely and stuff like that. But then again, it's like, as long as you're healthy, you know, like, you're gonna be just fine. Any context you would think of, whether it comes to girls, whether it comes to like striving for a certain kind of aesthetic or a certain kind of look, like, you know, maybe not like stage lean, like sure, that would dock you down if you had extra skin, but 99% of people that have that, it's not really going to be an issue. So in my opinion, at least, like, I understand being insecure about it, but maybe not necessarily, you know, because you can't control it, so why worry about it, you know? Again, I just think, like, as long as you're healthy, as long as you're, you know, feeling good, and then, you know, strong body, strong mind. So as long as your body's good, then your mind will be good as well. You'll be chilling. So yeah. In regards to the gym as like a whole and the gym culture, one of the things that I'm gonna keep on this, you know, video log, just for me, but also just like in general when it comes to publicizing this in any way I might, I'm gonna try and keep it on the relatively more modest side. Gym culture, especially in the past maybe like 2-3 years, because I started working out when I was a sophomore in high school. Now I'm a freshman. Actually, no, I was a freshman in high school going into sophomore year in high school, and now I'm a freshman in college. And I could definitely say that over the past couple of years, the culture on both men and women's side, like, it's definitely become less, you know, it seems like it's less about the whole process of going to the gym and enjoying the, you know, the process of putting on muscle, pushing yourself to limits, and it's more about like how you look while you do it. And part of that is thanks to social media, you know, because if you're trying to grow your social media, obviously you're going to have to do things that would take away from the workout. And I can speak on that here, like, even though I'm not really trying to push this at all, just bringing a camera to the gym to begin with definitely takes a hit to the quality of the workout at some point. Like, it's one of the main reasons why it dragged on for as long as it did. I was in there for probably like 3 hours, which definitely not the best. And I wasn't even talking to people. Normally I'm in the gym talking to people, trying to socialize and stuff, but it's just me, myself, and I was just worrying about, you know, when to record, when not to record, asking for permission to record, because I think that's also a big thing. You've got to be respectful. It's a public place. But yeah, just in regards to social media and the gym and all that, like, I think I want to try and keep this focused on the actual content of building muscle and like growing and just different training styles that seems to have worked for me, rather than just like looking showy, which consciously I'm aware that it's going to take a hit to my ability to grow as a content creator, if that's like a goal that I set in mind. But at this point, it's not really a goal. These are more of just like personal things for myself, and then whoever sees this, if there's somebody that is, you know, just starting to get into the gym that, you know, maybe doesn't know proper form, technique, control, all those things, and obviously that would be the point for them to see that, not necessarily to strive for the way they look. Because the other thing too is that, like, on social media, like, you gotta strive for being lean, which makes sense, and it's don't want to say it's like necessarily a bad thing. It's just a fact that when you're leaner, at least on a camera, you look like more detail is shown, which gives you the illusion of looking bigger. Also, this is a very pretty tree. Fall colors are coming in. It's great. Love it. But no, yeah, social media and just like it makes people try to stay too lean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to look at the context of the goal. If the goal is to grow on social media, yeah, be lean. But again, you have to take into consideration like it is going to take a toll on your mental health, because by being extremely lean for an extended period of time, it does raise your cortisol. So that's something that you have to consider as well when you're deciding what seasons of growth and what area of your life you're trying to grow are. And that's one of the main reasons why, if I'm trying to do this, I want to try and focus it less on the way that I look, even though that is the core premise of this, is improving the way that you look, but just more about the process of improving the way that you look rather than the finished product. I know that I kind of rambled on here, and I would be impressed if people stuck around long enough to hear me talk this long. But if you didn't, no big deal. But if you did, that's great. And hopefully learn something and can take it and apply it to your own training. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Hitting legs tomorrow. Got some stuff lined up there. Hopefully bring a camera into the gym. Hopefully it'll be a little less awkward. It's definitely going to be awkward because I'm new to this and not used to it, but hopefully each day it'll get a little bit better. And if anything, just got to keep the mentality, at least for myself, that these are just personal, like these are just for me, even though it's not. So you got to keep acting like it's just for me. So yep, I'm done rambling. Hopefully people learn something. Hopefully got something out of it. So hope everybody has a good rest of their day.